My name is Rochelle Chambless, and I'm one of the co-presidents of the Littleton uh, Women's Alliance of First Church Unitarian in Littleton. I see mostly familiar faces, but I see a few unfamiliar faces. So welcome to our Zoom meeting. And Reverend Lara Hoke is our minister at First Church Unitarian, and she's going to be speaking on the topic of ASMR. And I'll let her take it away and explain what that is.
All
Thank you
right.
for being here, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. And thank you, Women's Alliance, for inviting me to speak on a topic of my choice. I've covered various things over the years. This one's a little different. Just a few housekeeping things first. If I am recording now, if you don't want your face on the video, let me know, and I can remove it before I would post this online anywhere. That's not a problem. So just send me an email, minister@fculittle.org. During the presentation, probably best if you can stay muted, but feel free to unmute if you need to tell me something. In other words, we can't hear the video, then go ahead and unmute and say it, because it's easier than seeing a message that I might not see in the chat. I think that's it. The other thing I would mention, oh yes, if you have headphones, like I said, if you had headphones while we show ASMR videos, you'll hear stuff that much better. It'll be potentially more powerful for you with headphones. But if you don't have headphones, it's okay, not a problem. All right, so jumping right in. And I will be speaking probably for close to my allotted time. I hope that's okay, and that we can do brief questions or comments in between the videos that I show, but mostly save time at the end. So ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And I know that it sounds really official and complicated, but it's really not. So what is it? ASMR. It's a reaction that your senses have to certain stimuli that some people say gives them like a tingling sensation, or they get the tingles. And that's sort of like maybe goosebumps, or maybe like that feeling you get starting at the top of your head that kind of goes down your shoulders, maybe your spine, or maybe just like a very hyper alert sensation in a pleasant way, static. Like for some people, ASMR is just very relaxing. For some people, it creates a feeling of well-being or even euphoria. It's sort of what I've talked about in sermons this year, the glimmers. It's the visceral version of glimmers, right? So something that makes you feel good or feel like you have a sense of well-being. The ASMR version of that is that on steroids, where you just feel, wow, I'm really doing all right. So it's hard to put into words. Sometimes people first experience something like this, and before we had a word for it, because the term only got coined in 2010. So before the term was even coined, many of us experienced something like this in real life, often during childhood. I don't know if you ever did that thing with your friends when you were a little kid, where you kind of do this on somebody's forearm, light touching, or on the back, or spell a word. When I was a kid, we used to do that sometimes, and it was really pleasant. And it gave maybe these same sensations that ASMR gives. So it's not really a new sensation. It's just a new sensation to create videos that are deliberately meant to create that sensation. So examples of things that are called triggers, things that are the glimmer inspiring versions of things for your sights and sounds that might give you this ASMR feeling. Soft speaking, for some people, a soft spoken voice can really do it. For some people, whispering does it. Sometimes humming, and everyone has different triggers. What works for one person doesn't work for the next. Sometimes slowly turning a page or folding a page, sometimes scratching on something, or squishing sounds or crunching sounds. Sometimes mouth sounds people find pleasant. Tapping, usually with fingernails onto a hard surface, typing, scissors, crinkly things, paper, styrofoam, clothing sounds, rustling clothing, hand movements, especially toward one's face. It kind of makes you feel a little sleepy sometimes because it's like it makes you blink because it feels like it's coming at you. So that does it for some people. Experimental sounds, almost anything potentially, if you have a really high quality microphone, like the people creating ASMR do, almost anything can be used with a high quality microphone to create the right sounds. And then certain visuals are just, repetitive and calming, and you'll see some examples. And then one big thing that happens in ASMR is something called role play, where somebody is acting out something as though they're waiting on you or serving you in some way. So those are kind of common triggers. But one person's ASMR trigger is another person's misophonia, which is just a word that means like a hatred of a certain sound, right? So misophonia, people with fingernails down the chalkboard, that's misophonia. For some people, whispering is ASMR inducing. For some people, that's misophonia, right? So everyone's different. Some people even in ASMR like the sound of eating. This is very popular in Korea and certain Asian countries. It's called mukbang, and it's people eating, like the sounds of eating into a high quality microphone. And it's very popular in certain places and cultures, but for I think most people in our culture, it's not really a thing that we usually enjoy. So when I first heard about ASMR, I heard about it through my adult daughter, and it was presented to me as something, kind of amusing. And I checked it out and I thought it was hysterically funny. These people doing these weird things into and around the microphone and whispering and pretending to serve me. I just laughed, right? I sort of thought it was ridiculous. But something made me check it out during the early days of the pandemic. And I found when I gave it a chance, it actually kind of worked for me. It really made me relax. So I wanted to share it with you today in case you didn't already know about it, so that you would experience it and see what you thought. There's minimal research on this. As I said, the term was only coined in 2010 by a young woman named Jennifer Allen, who created a Facebook group for people that had this sensation, and it kind of grew from there. There is some evidence from some peer-reviewed studies that it does reduce the heart rate. Clearly, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence for people that it reduces their stress or their anxiety or, just in general makes them feel better. But if the question is, do we know that it has lasting positive impacts on your health or mental health? No, there's no research on that. So we don't know. There's some controversy around ASMR. For one thing, like I said, a lot of people find it ridiculous. Some people find what is undeniably sensual sometimes in people's ways of talking to almost cross over into a sexual feeling thing or sounding thing. I've never experienced that personally, but it could be a thing, I suppose. Some people complain that it's not scientific and that the people providing ASMR haven't had particular training, and that's certainly true. Two basic kinds of ASMR: unintentional and intentional. Intentional ASMR is done by ASMR artists, and they very deliberately are creating these visuals and sounds. Unintentional ASMR is just something somebody finds that they find gives them the tingles. It wasn't created for that specific purpose, but it does it, right? We know that ASMR comes from sights and sounds. We know that it comes from touch, like the tracing things that I talked about. I would say it potentially could come from taste, right? There are certain things you can taste that give you a visceral feeling, like wasabi comes to mind, good or bad, right? So I think that could be something people learned about. Or smell. Some people, certain smells give them interesting responses. Like some people like the smell of gasoline. I'm one of those weird people. So you never know. And in the future, I think it's quite possible that there will be ASMR spas, that people will actually create a place that you could go in person to experience some of this. So we'll see where it takes us. Any quick questions before I get into sharing some videos? Are any of you familiar with ASMR? Okay, so really just one of
Yes,
you.
I am.
Okay.
And
Oh, and
my
Teresa,
sister,
okay,
yeah, I want to mention
great.
too that two of my sisters have the opposite, the misophonia. And even when my sister was a small child, she couldn't stand to hear people eating. And even now, she
Yeah.
won't eat in the same room with her husband.
Yeah, I think in our culture, people tend to dislike that sound. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you, I made 3 videos over the last couple of days, and I made them in advance because I didn't see how I was going to be able to do this on the fly. So hopefully this will work for me to show you these videos. And again, you'll have to let me know if the sound is not coming through. So let me share the screen here. A lot of people will say that the history of ASMR starts with none other than Bob Ross. Bob Ross, the man who painted so many years on the PBS Joy of Painting video series. And so the first 2 videos you're going to see are going to show you kind of, I suppose, his invention or discovery of ASMR. Bob Ross was instructed by a man named Bill Alexander, who did the exact same style of painting. And their paintings look a lot alike. But you'll see that Bob Ross totally changed the presentation style, the gestures he used when painting, and the way he spoke especially, so much more sensual, a little whispery. And even the way he did his brush strokes, kind of accentuating certain sounds, kind of making them even in a way that's more maybe satisfying to the ear than Bill Alexander. Whereas Bill Alexander, the man that he learned from, was German or Germanic. I'm not sure exactly where he came from, but he has this style. And so you'll see how Bob Ross took that painting technique and the teaching technique, but transformed it with what we would now call ASMR. So first you'll see some Bill Alexander, and then you'll see Bob Ross.
Thank you for letting me be with you again. You know, today I have made up my mind. I will show you rain. How would rain? We just say rain. See, everyone paints a landscape, a seascape, and no one paints rain. I will show you rain because I know I painted so many paintings, and it would be good if you want to paint rain, you can say, I know how to do it. Okay, so let's fire that in. So first, the magic white. Magic white is on the canvas. I fired that in already before you. I was already on the ball. The magic white is on. Good. Now we will make a sky, a rain sky, and we have to get something like a landscape where the rain rolls along. Maybe on water, I will show, water would be good. Maybe the rain hits the water and then we can see the water without rain and the rain moving in. Okay, good. So we have it all lined up nicely. Van Dyke brown, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, maybe phthalo green. Phthalo green. The rain is kind of a greenish, bit of a red. I think I got it now. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, that looks like rain. Don't you think so? That looks like rain, isn't it? Okay, now we have clouds, almighty clouds rolling along. Almighty clouds rolling along. Could we, let's have this the rain clouds first. I will make it a bit darker. Rain clouds, bit darker. Use a bit more Van Dyke brown, a bit touch of Van Dyke brown right into that. It's good. See, it gives you a look at that. It gives you that the dark folds.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 20th Joy of Painting series. Son of a gun, it's hard for me to believe this is the 20th series, but it is, and I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me back for another series of painting shows. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your brushes and your paints and paint along with us each show. I think you'll enjoy it. Tell you what, let's start out today and have run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me, and I think we'll just do a happy little picture today. So let me tell you what I've got done up here. We have our standard old 18 by 24 inch canvas, but you use whatever size you want. And we have it covered with a little bit of liquid white, just a thin, even coat, just enough to make the canvas wet. And with that, we'll just take off and we'll have a super time. Start today, I think I'll use a little 1-inch brush, and we'll go into a very, very small amount of the phthalo blue. Just a little bit, don't want much. And let's make some happy little clouds in our world. Let's come right up here. And we'll just take this brush and we'll just bounce in some nice shapes. Now when we're doing this, we're interested in the white area, not the dark. So don't worry about the dark area. We're going to blend that all out. All we're doing is putting in some color for the shadows of our clouds. And this is one of the nicest, easiest ways of making very effective, great big old clouds. There. See, but we're interested in this white area once again. Maybe there's another little cloud that lives in our world right along there. Wherever you think they should be, then that's exactly where they should be. Just wherever. And just use the old little 1-inch brush and just making tiny little circles. Just tiny little circles. There we are. Okay, maybe I'll add a little color right in here too. Just so there'll be a little color at the base of this cloud. There. Now then, let's take our little brush. This is a 2-inch brush. And go right up in here and very gently, I'm using just the corner of the brush. We'll make little round circle patterns here. Just sort of wind it up, blend it together. Allow it to blend with the white that's already on the canvas. And that's the joy of this wet on wet painting technique. The fact that it's wet allows you to blend color right on the canvas. Right on the canvas.
Okay. So I'm guessing you've all seen Bob Ross before. That was another early ASMR experience for me. But you got a sense of what he did there in terms of going from Bill Alexander's style to the way he does it and the difference it makes and the way that, you know, when I was a kid and I came across Bob Ross, I would stop and watch, even though I had no interest in painting. So it was an ASMR thing. There you go. So the next video you'll see kind of explains itself. So I think I'm just going to try to share it. So now you've seen ASMR developing through Bob Ross and, you know, how it was showing up in a way unacknowledged in movies and TV. The next series of videos you're going to see are intentional ASMR videos. ASMR that was created intentionally, very intentionally by people on the internet. Mostly these are things you find on YouTube. That's where I found them. And we'll show you a few. We'll show you several, actually, that you can get a feel for what's out there. And the very first video you're going to see is just some visuals, some pleasing visuals by, I think it's called Oddly Satisfying is the name of the channel on YouTube. So I put together a couple just of oddly satisfying visuals. The first one is going to be the visuals with their actual sounds. So it's kind of a combination of visual ASMR and the audio ASMR. And then the second one right after that will be the visuals, really visual ASMR alone, because instead of the sounds, you'll hear just music, just soothing music. So you'll get a sense if it's the visuals alone that might work for you, or if you need the visuals and the sound together. So enjoy. The next intentional ASMR video I'm going to show you, this is again, it's just a kind of random sampling from the internet because there's so much out there. This is an ASMR artist that I really like, who goes by MZG. I think it's Malcolm Zachary. I'm not sure what the G stands for. Anyway, I like his videos a lot. I think he's really good at getting interesting ASMR sounds from almost any object. And so the first video you're going to see from him is just what they call triggers. He'll make sounds with certain objects, and there's a little bit of a visual factor, of course. You're watching a video, but mostly this is audio. This is audio ASMR. So enjoy. And now the second video by MZG that I'm going to show you today. This is what's called a role play. And role play is a very popular kind of ASMR where the person doing the video is kind of pampering you. And that's part of the appeal, right? In addition to whatever sights and sounds you might be enjoying, you're getting that one-on-one focused attention that probably all of us crave and don't get as much as we wish. So MZG, again, somebody I really enjoy. And this is him doing a sort of a barbershop ASMR role play. And you'll notice that, there's different perspectives in the role play. In this case, he is working on the microphone almost as if the microphone is you in this role play. So again, enjoy.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to the shop. How you doing? Doing good? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself. Can't really complain, man, But, what are we gonna go with today? What are you doing? You're gonna be doing a fade, like any special designs, or what you think? Okay, I'm gonna let you think about that, okay? And I'm gonna go get my stuff. You make yourself comfortable, you think about what you want, and let me go get my equipment, okay? You want some water or something? Alright, bet. So, you know what you want? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I can kind of tell just by looking at it, But, yeah, so. Just brush some of this hair down, So, what you been up to lately? I got you, yeah. Yeah, really, I got you on the scalp massage. Let's go. I know you. Okay, and now let's get started. Start cutting your hair now. Sorry. Well, make sure to leave a good review for me. If you enjoyed the cut, you like your cut, you like it, right? Okay, cool. Well, since you like it, leave a good review, and I'll see you next time, right? All right.
All right, I hope you enjoyed MZG and that the great sounds that he gets from different objects. I personally love scissors. That scissor sound is a good ASMR trigger for me. Everyone's different. I also like some of the on microphone stuff when people put the object right on the microphone, high quality microphone, and do something. I seem to like that. It does work better if you have headphones on. Okay, so the next one we'll do, another role play, is by an ASMR artist named Latte. Latte is, I believe, Korean or Korean American, I'm not sure which, and accents seem to be a very popular thing in ASMR. I think because it helps you to hear the sounds a little differently. When you're hearing it with an accent, something about the lilt of whatever the accent is catches your ear in a different way, I think. So this is Latte, and her ASMR videos are mostly role plays. Again, focused attention on you. This one, she happens to be doing, what is she doing in this one? Oh yeah, face mapping. And her videos are known for their intros. They have kind of elaborate introductions with high production value. I don't know who she has working with her or if she does that herself, but they're kind of very artistic. And face mapping, again, this is maybe a little snapshot into some Eastern medicine, perhaps. So that's another interesting aspect of ASMR, but I think you'll enjoy.
Hello, welcome to our face mapping clinic. My name is Latte and I'll be your therapist today. Nice to meet you. So please relax and stay comfortable. Yeah, let me first give you some tea, okay? So I'm going to place it right on this table beside you. There. Okay. So this is mugwort tea. It has lots of vitamin A and C. Keeps the body nice and warm. And also help the inner circulation of our body. And these are little date chips. They have natural sweet flavors, so really go well with that kind of fresh flavored tea. Yeah, so please enjoy them together. They're really good. You're welcome. Alright, now, this is your first time here in our clinic, right? Okay. So let me explain about how we treat and heal our clients just a little bit. So, in this clinic, we mainly focus on our client's face because we view a person's face as a map and reflection of their inner health, inner organs' health. For example, if you have constant breakouts on a certain area of your face, that could mean that the organ that correlates the area has some problem or is in a weak state.
And the next ASM artist is known as Ting. Ting is Chinese, and she has a huge following, as does Latte, by the way, the person you just saw. But Ting has a huge following. She makes a lot of videos. Boy, she has a huge output of videos. Every once in a while, she'll be offline for a while, and I'm not sure if it's because she's traveling or because of complications with the internet in China. I'm not sure. But to me, she has a very soothing way about her. And again, you get a little tiny bit of Eastern culture here. She'll show you a few characters, and this is her role play. Again, focused attention on you. Role play on a tattoo parlor consult. So you can make ASMR out of any role play. Enjoy.
Hi, welcome back. How have you been liking the design so far? That's great. Today we can finish the final design and sketch it on you, then start the outline. Okay? We will keep the calligraphy style, but maybe change the character a little. Let's go over some more popular Chinese characters you might like. Let's take a look at this one. It's called Long. It means dragon. Some people tattoo it not only because the dragon is their zodiac, but also because the dragon is a brave and powerful animal. Oh, let me show you the last one. This is a phrase called 永不言弃 in Chinese. I still remember the first time I saw this phrase was in my teacher's office. She told me it means never give up and always trust yourself. You can do it.
And the last intentional ASMR video I'm going to show you, again, just scratching the surface, is another role play. And this is actually the first AMS artist that I sort of started following. I don't know why. I stumbled upon her and enjoyed her stuff. Not all of you are going to like this. Well, not all of you are going to like any of them. But you, with MZG, Malcolm, you got kind of a whispery style of talking. With Latte, you got soft-spoken ASMR. With Ting, sometimes she whispers, but in that one, she was more of a soft-spoken voice. In this ASM artist, she goes by the name Whispers Red because she's a redhead. And I believe she's British. Again, you got that accent thing. And she really does whisper as opposed to soft-spoken usually. And so for some people, whispering is an ASMR trigger. Other people really don't like it. But in any case, here it is for you to check out. And this is a library role play, which these are very popular. Different people do library role plays. It gives you an obvious reason to whisper that makes sense. And, you know, there's things like typing, writing, and flipping pages of books. These are all popular ASMR techniques.
If you'd like to take a seat, that's it, make yourself comfortable. I'm just going to change the screen, finish up what I was doing here. It's not important. And then I can help you. Alright. Okay. Are you cozy? help you with that, no problem at all. So, first I'll bring up your account. Shall we do that? Have a look. What's happening there? Are you a member of this particular library or the group of libraries? Okay, good. That just helps me a little. Right, so go ahead.
Okay. So before I show you the last video, which is unintentional ASMR, any comments or questions or thoughts on what you just saw? Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
I just wanted to say that Latte is one of my favorite people in Whispers Red. She did a Christmas wrapping paper this season. It was wonderful. But
yeah,
more later.
She's great. I love her.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you might find I gave you a few different people speaking because sometimes one person's style works for you more than another. So you got a little sense of that. So this last video, we might go over just a few minutes. I hope that's okay. But here we go. Now we move into unintentional ASMR. So the videos we've been seeing, first you had the unintentional ASMR at the dawn of ASMR. ASMR before there was ASMR, the proto-ASMR, Bob Ross and certain movies and TV show scenes. Then you have intentional ASMR, which you just saw a bunch of videos where people are deliberately trying to give you tingles. And now you always go back to where you began. And for some people, the ultimate ASMR is what's known as unintentional ASMR. These are sort of found ASMR videos that people scrounge the internet and find videos that give them the tingles. Usually it's somebody's voice does it. And then they sort of upload them to YouTube as unintentional ASMR. There are unintentional ASMR channels, and that's where I got most of this. So we're going to start off with, let's see, we'll start off with an unintentional ASMR video from the medical world. This was obviously a training video for doctors, and the doctor in the video is an actual doctor with some sort of probably local person playing the patient. And it's kind of cute. It seems like it should lead to a romance, but in any case, enjoy the unintentional ASMR.
Okay, I'm going to kind of go from head to toe at this point, so just taking a look at your face and looking to see that it looks symmetric. And now I just want to check your head and your hair. And I'm going to ask you to do some face movements along with me to check the muscles in your face.
Okay.
So can you wrinkle your forehead for me? Oh, great. Excellent. Okay, can you close your eyes really tight and keep them closed. Don't let me open them. Excellent. Very good. Okay, you can open them. And puff out your cheeks for me. Okay, and smile real big. Okay, good. And can you frown? Okay, great. Excellent. Can you open your mouth for me? Open and close. Open and close. Great. Okay. I'm going to check the sensation in your face now, and going to check a couple of different ways. One is I'm going to touch you with a little bit of a sharp point, and I want you to tell me if it feels sharp or dull. Okay? So if you close your eyes for me, And you just say sharp or dull when you feel something.
Sharp,
Okay.
sharp, 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 sharp. That was dull.
Okay.
Sharp, sharp.
Sorry. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same thing, just with a little cotton wisp.
Okay.
So it's just going to feel kind of like that.
Okay.
And good, you got your eyes closed. And just say yes when you feel something.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Very good.
The next unintentional ASMR video I have for you is by a channel called Check It Out. And it's a series of videos by this man in India who buys products and does reviews of them. And he has an incredibly soft-spoken voice. And you don't see him. You see his hands and him holding the objects. And he reviews it. And he always says, check it out when he's done. So these are unintentionally soothing for people who like accents and soothing voices. Enjoy.
Let's take a look at these Spanish sweets. This is by Fini. Canton Spanish sweets. It's a vegetarian product. These are apple candy, origin of Spain. That's the nutritional info. Fini Sweets, with more than 40 years of expertise, is the biggest Spanish manufacturer and distributor of sugar confectionery. It costs around 135 rupees or around $2 or so. These are manufactured in Spain. Again, I'm making this video well before September. Ingredients are glucose, fructose syrup, sugar, wheat flour, starch, acid, vegetable fat, acidity regulator, salt, emulsifiers, flavoring, humectant. So let's taste it. That's how the candy looks. Let's taste it. This candy is really sour. Once you get past it, you get a really nice apple flavor and a chewy gummy. Interesting packaging and a tasty candy. Quite nice. Check it out. Let's take a look at these coated peanuts. This is by a company called Noi. Fit Active Lifestyle. Coated peanuts, coconut flavor, zero trans fat, zero cholesterol, good source of protein. Selection of good quality products. It comes in this nice tin. That's how the coated peanut looks without the face though. That's the nutritional info. It's by Zen Garden, manufactured in Thailand. Costs around 165 rupees or around $2 or so. That's the shelf life. So let's taste it. That's how it looks. Let's taste it. The flavoring ingredients form a really thick coating on the peanut, like they show on the picture. You get a really pleasant coconut smell and taste. It's very mildly salted, so you get to really taste the coconut and the peanut. Quite nice. Check it out.
I can't believe I said enjoy instead of check it out to introduce check it out. But anyway, missed opportunity. I don't have the time to fix it. So moving along to the next unintentional ASMR video. This one is wacky. This is a guy who goes by the name of something like Lord Stephen Christ, I believe. And he has some interesting theories about the world. So this is completely unintentional ASMR, although he knows that his stuff sometimes gets used for ASMR and seems to have no issues with it. So, you know, it's all good. And so this is part of his worldview, his cosmology, his version of how the universe works. It's very soothing. Enjoy.
NASA knows about this. Shh. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world, ladies and gentlemen. The real world is a little bit more, I don't know, stranger than you would imagine. This is the real world. This is a cross-section of the real world. Mountain ranges, continents, oceans, more continents, glass sky, ice attached to glass. This is Earth. That's Earth. We are inside the Earth. We got boats, people. That's the real world. That's the real world. It's kind of scary. There's a celestial sphere. There's ocean and water above. It's a celestial ocean. This area is what we think is outer space, but it's really inner space. That's where the sun is. The sun casts its light inside the earth, and the sun moves. Earth does not move. It's stationary. That's the real world. There's a moon. The moon moves in the earth. The stars are up here. The stars are up there. Very tiny. They're inside the celestial ocean. Why are they in water? Because that's how stars work. Sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence. That's what stars are. Very tall, very small. Very tiny and small. Planets. Planets are small too. Earth is not a planet. Earth encompasses the entire universe. Shh, don't tell anybody. This is a secret. What's outside of Earth? Who knows?
The next unintentional ASMR video that you'll see is actually a professor who taught at MIT many years, especially in the field of artificial intelligence. Really smart guy, as you might imagine. His lectures are fascinating in their own right, but his voice will put you right to sleep in a good way, I think. His name is Marvin Minsky. Maybe you've heard of him. Super smart. But anyway, you get a sense of why his voice is strangely soothing. Enjoy.
I think the first time I started to think about that was when I was an undergraduate at Harvard, and I was looking through Widener Library, and I ran across a big, thick book called Mathematical Biophysics. And now we're talking the late 1940s, and there weren't such words around. I opened it, and it was full of strange little articles edited by a prodigious guy, Nicholas Reshevsky at the University of Illinois, I think, or maybe Chicago. And it had chapters about theories of how cells might divide and how populations grow, and maybe 40 or 50 little chapters. And one of the chapters was about simulated neural networks by McCulloch and Pitts in 1941. And I had been curious about psychology because that's a long story, but I was trying to decide what to do, and one thing that seemed interesting to do was mathematics, but there were other people who were good at mathematics, very good, and in mathematics there's no point in being second best because it's different from other fields. And I was interested in biology, and there seemed to be people pretty good at that. And chemistry, I had a professor, Louis Fieser, and it looked like that was under control. And then there was psychology, and as far as I could see, there wasn't anyone good at that, except maybe Sigmund Freud 50 years before. But what to do about it, because people didn't seem to have any theories of how thinking worked. And here was this strange paper with ideas that in fact were completely new about finite state machines and things like that. And I got very excited.
Penultimate unintentional ASMR video. For a change of pace, this is going to be more of a visual unintentional ASMR. There's some sound that also could be ASMR trigger for you, but it's mostly a visual thing. It's a Zen garden, like a Zen rock garden with a rake. And, it's not deliberately meant as ASMR, but it functions very well as ASMR. And for those of you who don't really like ASMR, you've done really well. You only have one more to watch. And this is so unintentional as ASMR that it's one I'm creating. I'm excerpting something that I think of as unintentional ASMR. It's from an online buddy of mine of sorts named Dunsy. And he does videos under the name Dunsy's Guitar World. And he shows you how to play stuff, usually heavy metal. And he talks about the guitars that he buys and all kinds of things. But whenever he's just talking, I love it. It's great ASMR. I've told him this. And I'm going to ask him if I can create some ASMR videos to put out there that are just his voice. Because why not? It's as good as any other unintentional ASMR, I think. His accent is Scottish. And here he is just telling a story. Enjoy.
Today, I'm starting a new series. I don't know how long it will go on for. As long as I have the stories. I was checking a scrapbook earlier yesterday and I noticed the first gig I did was 1982. It's been nearly 40 years of doing gigs, ironically, apart from the last 18 months where I've not even rehearsed, never mind do a gig. Anyway, my point was, I was going to tell some stories. There's nearly 40 years of gigs. I've got some, what are maybe funny stories. So I'm going to call this, So This One Time. I will start the story with So This One Time. This is episode 1. So this one time, the Sheffield Wawa incident. So I'm in a band, Dead Eyes Opened. It's Dead Eyes Open chaps. And we're playing a gig in Sheffield. Don't know if we get there, and I'm using a Boss ME20. Boss ME20. Which, on the far right hand side, that is a volume pedal. But it's also a wah-wah pedal. If you step on it really hard, it becomes a wah-wah pedal. You can tell how the story's going to go. So, like all these festivals, there's no real sound check for the sport bands. I think we were on first or second or something like that. So we only get like 2 minutes before you go on stage. You go and plug into an amp and see how it sounds, and then you have to go. So somebody said, oh, you can use a Marshall amp. So I plug into the Marshall amp and I start playing my guitar, and I thought, oh my God, that's like really trebly, like ear-piercingly trebly. And went to the amp, turned all the bass all the way up and the treble all the way down. It was still horrendous. And meanwhile, the stage manager saying, you guys have to start in 30 seconds. I was like, what? And we just had to go ahead. I mean, it's possibly the worst guitar sound I've ever had on stage. And then we started playing. I mean, it gets worse. Started playing. And because we didn't have any sound check, we didn't have a drummer. So we had a backing track. And we burst into the first song. Backing track comes on. And then we start playing. And we couldn't hear the backing track properly. So we went on for about 30 seconds. And then we had to say, whoa. We had to stop proceedings at a gig with people watching. We had to say, whoa, that's enough. We can't go on. So we had to start again. Had to turn the backing track up a bit so we could actually hear it. So I then proceeded to play 27 minutes of a 30-minute set with the worst ear-piercing guitar sound you have ever heard. And then just when it came to the last song, I normally turn the volume down a bit and I put my foot on the volume pedal, and it was only then I realised I'd put the bloody wah-wah on and it was on full. So I did almost the entire gig with a screeching wah-wah guitar sound. I mean, why people didn't rush the stage and beat me up, I don't know. So that was this one time in Sheffield. The moral of this story is, always check your wah-wah pedal is switched off. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Cheers for now.
All right. So I will say, before I open it up to any last thoughts, no one's getting rich off of ASMR, not yet. It's really kind of altruistic. I think most people that make these videos are just trying to create something that people enjoy. And also the ASMR community is very positive. If it's one of the cases where you can read the comments on these ASM artists videos. If you read the comments, it's so positive. So even the comments are affirming. So I really appreciate that. So again, sorry that I went a little long. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions? Or I'd be curious if any of them really worked for you or didn't work for you too. So Laurie, Niren, go ahead.
Thank you. Are you hearing me?
Yep.
This is all really new to me. I have heard of something called tapping to reduce anxiety and stress, and I'm wondering if that's all sort of part of this whole umbrella. And I did find that some of the things that you shared with us really were wonderful, and a lot of it was like, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a thing called EMDR, that's like a tapping, that kind of thing, which is something some psychiatrists and psychologists do that probably has more scientific basis than ASMR does yet. So that might be the tapping you're talking about, but then there's the simple like tapping on a microphone kind of thing. That's ASMR.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
This is Teresa. I'm familiar with AMSR or ASMR. I always forget the initials. And I've actually watched several videos, and the whispering is not something that does anything for me, but I like a lot of the sounds with plastic and wood and that type of thing. And I find it very, very soothing. Also, I like to watch a lot of like C-SPAN programs where people are talking, and the voice of the speaker, it makes a big difference as to whether I will listen to the whole thing. Sometimes I just find them very, very soothing and interesting to listen to, not just the subject, but the voice as well. But yeah, I still go on occasionally to look at various ASMR videos, just find ones I like. But like I said, I like plastic, wood, tapping a little bit. So it was interesting to see the other ones that you found, because I hadn't seen some of those, Lara, or seen those types before, like the role playing ones.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. Yeah. Everyone likes something a little different. So it's always interesting. Liz.
So I'm the one in every crowd.
Uh-oh.
Misophonia, big time. The only one that I found pleasant to listen to was Bob Ross. And
interesting.
And when I heard him come on, I thought, well, this is a great radio voice. You don't hear about that so much anymore, but I remember us talking about it in college, about the best voices for radio, and people talked about Robert J. Leutzema. If you're familiar with public radio back in the 80s. But that very low, tailored to the way the radio wanted you to sound voice. But the others were challenging for me to listen to, especially if there was a lot of mouth sound. And I don't know if I always had that, or if it was related to having a family member with tardive dyskinesia, which, if you don't know it, it's a side effect from psychotropic medication that makes you lose control of your muscle movements, and it usually starts with the mouth. And you'll hear a lot of that. And to me, that is the ultimate fingernails on a blackboard. Now, I was just curious to know, am I the complete outlier here, or did anyone else have an unpleasant experience?
Well, first, I just want to say sorry to put you through that for an hour. It's totally normal. Some people don't like ASMR.
I was really interested, so that's why I stayed with it.
Liz, you're not an outlier. This is Eleanor. This was I've always paid attention to stimuli, whether it's visual, smell, sights, because I'm very sensitive. So for me, I really appreciated Reverend Lara, the scope of things, because some things I really wanted to run out of the room because I couldn't stand it. And other things just really were lovely. So I just wanted to affirm to Liz that you're not an outlier and strange, but there were some things that I just really almost couldn't sit in my chair over. So I don't know if that helps, but some things were just so powerfully relaxive, and some things neutral, and some things I really wanted to go outside. So I don't know if that helps.
That makes sense. And I would say, Eleanor, for you, if you find the right videos, it'll probably work well for you, because you seem to be sensitive in general. So you just have to find the ones you like. Jan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to give other people a chance, but two things. I love, I think her name is Autumn, who eats. She's Asian and she does eat, and I love that. She was eating a piece of candy not too long ago, and it really triggered me. And the other thing is, my favorite ASMR person is Maria. Have you seen her?
No.
Oh, she does a lot of role play and whispering, and I love just the way she says okay. And so check her out.
I will. Maria. All right, I'll check her out. Any other thoughts or comments? Yeah, Meg.
In my nursing career, I used touch and voice a lot. And I never called it ASMR, but trying to, both for me and the patient, elicit that closeness, and that, I guess it would be a tingling type of feeling. And people, when I was working, always said that I was very calm. And I think that helps people.
Yeah.
So I guess it is ASMR. I just never heard the lingo.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's pretty new lingo. Yeah, some people speculate that, especially with the role play videos, that for people who like them, it might go back to like the primate thing of grooming and sort of a way of bonding. You know, somebody's giving you devoted attention, they're bonding with you, it's soothing, it's comforting. So I do think there's something to that for some of us. Yeah.
I have a quickie comment, Reverend Laura. When you were talking about people like Bob Ross, Rick and I used to joke about, do you remember Cosmos with Carl Sagan, the TV show? We could not get through that without falling asleep because of his voice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right. I really got into this originally to fall asleep. That was the main thing I was seeking in the beginning. But that's different from seeking tingles in a way, two different things, but both things can happen. Yeah, Liz.
I had one last comment too, is that the reason I found it so interesting is that for every video, not every video, but for many videos that irritated me, I could picture a context in which a similar sound would have a very different effect. Like normally I can't stand to hear people eat, but when our Eleanor was a toddler, they would eat their food rather noisily. And I found it so charming. And I used to call it panda noises because it's like those videos of pandas eating bamboo. And I loved it madly. And I don't know if it would have worked if I recorded it, but panda noises, man, that was my sweet spot. And I'm thinking too, when Meg was talking, that my dentist has this way of making her voice, well, she doesn't make it, it's just her normal speaking voice. It's very calm and it's very soothing. And I like that a lot, but I think some of it is we have a relationship. And some of these videos sounded to me like when you're in a relationship and someone's speaking sweet nothings into your ear. And in that context, very terrific. On a video, to me, it was a jarring difference.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so speaking of the animal eating noises and all that, some people do make videos with high quality microphones of like a little kitten eating like a little sausage. And in that context, yeah, the eating sound is adorable. So it's hard to know, is it the visual that makes it adorable because it's a cute creature? And you might have noticed, as I can't help but notice, that the majority of intentional ASM artists are pretty conventionally attractive. Of course, that goes for people who tend to make videos for YouTube are on average conventionally attractive compared to the average person on the street. So, does that play into it? How could it not, I suppose? But it's in there somewhere.
I have one more comment, Lara. Liz reminded me that you had shown the Bob Ross video in the beginning, and I used to love to watch those. And I didn't even have to watch the painting. I could just listening to his voice, I just found very, very soothing. And that was years ago before I even knew about ASMR. I just found it just very, very compelling. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's very deliberate with the sounds he makes with the brush strokes. You don't have to be that even. I think he did that very deliberately for the effect of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just to let folks know, this is Emily. I'm an outlier in my household. I really mostly can't stand ASMR. Makes me crazy. The one I really liked was that Zen sand bake thing, both visually, I think. There wasn't a lot of sound, so I wonder if one of the things is for me visual, that visual. But anyway, that was the one. It was it. So I'm with you, Liz.
Yeah.
And others, I'm sure. I mean, it's personal. It's just that I think Lara enjoys many more. Lara enjoys many more versions of ASMR than I do. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's some really funny parody videos out there of ASMR too, as you can imagine. I mean, it almost parodies itself sometimes. Some of them are pretty hysterical. Yeah. There's a great one of an ASMR role play where the young woman starts out showing you her scissors and she's gonna cut your hair and all this. And then somebody comes in wearing a mask and he very quietly whispers how this is a stick up and give you all, give me all your money. And she crinkles the money as she puts it in his bag. And then a police officer comes up and he very quietly whispers, put your hands up, but wait while I sip my coffee. And he anyway, things like that. It's those of us who like ASMR know that on some level it is hysterically funny. It's okay.
I think there was a great Will and Grace scene with Jack and Karen doing some ASMR. So anyway, so finding that would be fun.
Interesting. Yeah.
I appreciate that. The
Yeah,
humor of it.
there are some movie scenes and TV scenes that in retrospect you'd have to call ASMR. So those are out there as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for your attention. And again, I'm sorry to go over, but I wanted to give a sampling and I guess I got a little carried away. And Liz and Eleanor and Emily, I hope you recover from some of the heinous sounds that you had to hear.
Well, thank you so much, Lara. That was really interesting.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It really
Lara.
was. It
was
wasn't
wonderful.
torture, it was just educational.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for your attention. Maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow.
Yep.
So, yes, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.